to tell us more and give us the current state of affairs in the country that he's living in currently. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So give us the clear picture of the state of affairs in the United States. There seems to be economic and social disruptions. Give us the clear view.
Yeah, life is completely different. I've been living here for the last 6 years, but I've never seen anything like what I'm seeing right now. San Francisco is usually a very busy city. Almost 1 million people live in the city. Most people use public transportation on any day of the week. In any other season that's not this coronavirus season, lots of people are on the street. There's a lot of economic activity. But now the city is dead quiet. The state of California put in place some version of temporary lockdown. So people just stay home. Companies temporarily close their offices. So everyone works from home. Most businesses are closed except essential businesses. And so people have no reason to go out. It's a very quiet city. It's a very quiet period. People are worried, but people are doing what they can. They're doing their best to stay at home and protect themselves and protect the people they love, and hope that this thing doesn't go too long. For me personally, I think it's kind of it's an interesting season for me. I work for a company that's friendly to working from home, but recently, about 2 weeks ago, they instructed everyone to start working from home. I'm usually someone who likes to go out and hang out with friends and go to the gym or hang out in the parks, but I've stopped doing all of that lately to protect myself and protect other people. And I've been just socializing with people online. That's the best I can do. For the most part, just staying at home.
Yeah. Do you have Rwandan friends around you? And could you please tell us how this has affected their livelihood currently?
Yeah, I think in the city that I live in, most of the Rwandan friends I have work for different companies. We don't live in the same house, but all of them are currently working from home. Their companies have instructed them to get online, connect to the VPN if you need to, and stay as far away from the offices, from public places as you can. Many other friends I have are across the country, in Boston, in New York. Many of them are students, and many of you know that the students in the US are completely closed right now. And so many of the students who are Rwandan, some of them came back to Rwanda, but a lot of them stayed here actually, and they live either in campus or somewhere around campus, and it could be a very lonely time. It could be a very hard time to study online, and so I've been reaching out to many of them, checking in with them, and making sure that they are holding up and they're trying their best to survive this season.
The other day we saw students celebrating spring break. Do you think Americans are heeding to the lockdown and the state of emergency that was declared by the president?
That's a very great question. I think one of the things I'm realizing is that while we are all doing our best to protect ourselves, there's always that people who don't take things seriously. And lately we've been seeing incidents of that in certain places. I think like young students who've been traveling on spring break in Florida have been just going on the beach and having fun, being with other people, which is completely wrong to do right now. And I think many of them are starting to see the effect of that. I feel like moving forward, governments, local governments, and the federal government is trying its best to make sure that people take this thing seriously. I think from what I heard today, the president is activating the National Guard in certain states to make sure that the military gets involved in making sure people stay at home and no events of more than 50 people, and people stay as far away as possible from each other.
Lastly, what advice would you give to Rwandans, fellow compatriots who are watching you right now?
Yeah, I'd say two things. One, I'd say please protect yourself and the people that you love. Stay home if you can. Really don't leave unless you have a very, very strong reason to leave. Wash your hands as much as possible. I've been seeing videos online of people, including our president, showing us how to wash our hands and how to stay clean. Please stay clean if you can. And if you have symptoms, try and get treated and get tested and make sure that you don't infect anyone around you. And I would add that this is a very hard time for many people around us. And so I would encourage people to practice solidarity and love. I know that in Rwanda and in many other places across the world, there are many people who depend on their daily work. They go to work, like motorcyclists, motari, for example. They go to work and they make some money, they go home and use that money to get something to eat. But within the next couple of weeks, with what's happening around the world and probably in Rwanda, it might not be possible. And I would recommend and highly encourage my friends and people across the country to reach out to one another. If you have anyone who's especially affected by this economically, please be with them and help them in any way possible. But at the same time, protecting yourself. So I'm not saying go visit them, but I'd say reach out, mobile money. We have ways to support each other. And as Rwandans, we don't need to be taught how to love.
Jonathan IYANDEMYE, please stay safe.
Thank you very much. Stay safe.
Thank you so
as
much
well.
for joining us.